Hello Malaysia, hello world. Apa khabar?
Did you know SEGI is the most ranked private institution?
Welcome to ECM Talk with another interesting topic: electric vehicles or EVs. Can Malaysia keep up? I'm Rajesh Shahrul, your host. Electric vehicles are gaining more and more popularity worldwide as people are becoming more concerned about climate change. Yes, this car is known for being environmentally friendly, and do you know that it could be cheaper to maintain in the long run? Not only that, the resale value of an electric car is also way higher compared to cars that run on fuel. Norway is known worldwide for having the highest number of plug-in electric car ownership per capita, followed by California, Netherlands, Sweden and China. Some cars that we even have in Malaysia, like the Honda HR-V, VW Golf, BMW 13S and Nissan Leaf, are also available as an electric car variant. But one question remains: do you think Malaysia is ready for electric cars, or also known as EVs? I have here with me, via Zoom video call, Professor Dr. Ishak Aris from the Department of Electrical and Electronic Engineering of the Faculty of Engineering, University Putra, Malaysia, and also external advisor to SEGI University's Bachelor of Electrical and Electronics Engineering, to share his studies and research on this subject matter. Assalamualaikum, Professor Aris. Apa khabar, sir? Welcome to ECM Talk.
Yeah. Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for inviting me to come into this program and share my ideas.
Thank you. Sama-sama, sir. Now, on the topic, Prof, in tandem with industry transformation, where does Malaysia stand in the EV industry as compared to other countries like China, Indonesia or India? Is Malaysia ready for the EV industry?
Okay, for that type of question, so I would say that based on my opinion, Malaysia, they are not lagging. So they are, I call it, according to the schedule. So all the country, they have their schedule on the EV. How they're going to implement, for example, like Thailand, Indonesia, they have their own plan, yeah, including their taxation, that kind of things. Malaysia also, they have announced it, but somehow due to some between the government agencies and the industry, so they are negotiating the right term. Yeah? So I'm pretty sure that after that they will resolve the problem. Then they will go into in full force. Because, for example, they just wait for the government to announce the right regulation. So based on NEP 2020, of course there are some adjustments here and there based on the taxation. So I'm pretty sure what Malaysia can catch up on this one. For example, like Volvo, they have a plan to manufacture the EV in Malaysia, right, which can give in terms of a job, in terms of opportunity for the vendors to participate, So these are the opportunities. Of course, like Proton, they also have their plan to if let's say the thing is right, then they are moved into the big ways. Because I got the opportunity to visit Geely in Shanghai last time, so they already have the technology on the EV, right? So that is my yeah.
But as far as Malaysia is concerned, Prof, the EV business has been around for quite a while, for the last few years. Am I right to say this, Prof?
Yes, you are correct. But somehow, in terms of public perception,
yes,
since the price, the price is still expensive based on our what you call it, our standard, local standard, still expensive. And the technology in terms of when we buy a car, so normally as a consumer, so we like to consider how am I going to maintain after we buy the car, right? Is the maintenance is affordable?
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
These are some of the issue. Like for example, the EV need to be charged, the battery, So how is it like? Do they have enough infra? For example, like in the shopping complex or in there are some area especially dedicated, that do they have enough charging point? For example, like this kind of things. So in terms of readiness, I would say that the government, they are putting up the initiative. They are implementing some of these charging station as well. They're putting up the effort. Maybe the quantity is not that many yet. So it's just like chicken and egg. Which one? Government waiting for the car to come in, or the industry wait for the infra to be ready. So these are the things. So that's why both of them need to sit down together, then take this opportunity together. So then the synergize, then for sure this can be what I call it can happen.
Correct. Now, Prof, obviously, if we look at other countries around the world that have gone into the EV business, now their main concern has always been about the environment. You want to create that clean environment, to be an environmental free business or environmental free industry. Now, how exactly does this work, Prof?
Okay, for the EV, for 100% or what I call it, electric vehicle, so normally there is no emission.
Right.
Yeah, there's no emission because once there is no emission, so we don't have any pollution, air pollution.
Right.
But we need to charge the battery.
Exactly. Yes.
In that we need electricity. So electricity is generated from the power station.
Yes.
So the power station still emit what I call it this do the combustion.
Yes.
But at least it's in a controlled manner.
Yes.
Right. Unlike the vehicle, what I call it vehicle, they are moving anywhere.
Yes.
So you cannot control the vehicle. Yeah. So in terms of the EV compared to internal combustion engine, so internal combustion engine, they're going to pollute the environment. Yeah. Because they need combustion in order to create the power to move the vehicle.
Right.
But unlike the electric vehicle, there is no need to do the combustion because the power is taken directly from the battery. Yeah? So the current will flow through the converters, then the converters then pass it to the motors and then move the wheel. So that's how it's done. Yeah. So in terms of environment, it of course help a lot because now we have a problem of the greenhouse effect.
Yes. Correct.
Then our temperature, our global temperature become it's become warmer.
Yes, the climate change. Yeah.
The climate change. Yes. Then after that, this will cause a lot of impact in terms of how we live, how we not just human being, but of course the animal and this all the trees.
Yes.
Because our created world with the very nice ecosystem, everybody has its own function. For example, like the tree absorb the CO2, but if CO2, then of course the tree cannot sustain the things. Yeah?
Correct.
So the things. So we need to somehow when we create things, we need to control it.
Right.
Yeah. Because and it could go back into equilibrium.
Yes.
Right, where you can sustain the value this kind of things. Yeah. Because the tree, we have to plant the tree because the tree will suck we suck the CO2 and in return give out the oxygen, which we need the oxygen.
Correct.
So this is the ecosystem. So it's a very nice ecosystem. So that's my
So it's not just about producing EVs in the country. You have to look into the whole perspective of the environment. You have to look into all that. Prof. Yes. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So we need to understand what's the because EV is one of the initiative.
Yes.
But plant a tree also is another thing because tree are created by God. This is the nature, because tree need CO2 to create the food.
Correct.
The chlorophyll, the CO2, there's the sunlight. So these are the components for the then from that then they distract what I call it, segregate the CO2. Carbon is maintained in the tree, then the oxygen is released into the environment.
Right.
It's a very nice things. So once we understand this one, then we know what to expect. Because car is just one part of thing. Then industry, they keep on pollute the environment, and power station they keep on pollute. But if you understand, let's say we need to, if let's say we have to cut the tree, but we have to replant the tree.
Yes.
Yeah. So then with then we sustain this ecosystem, then we can manage the environment.
Yeah, it's one cycle. Yeah, Prof. It's one cycle. Yes.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, Prof. Looking at where we are now in Malaysia, the EVs are nothing new, as what I've said earlier. It has started the last few years, and we also have EV cars already on the road in Malaysia, like Volkswagen, and we have BMW, which few of their models are already on the road in Malaysia. Do you think this would, no doubt the prices are not cheap, they're quite expensive. Even Mercedes-Benz has got their EV cars as well. Now, do you think we are on track with the industry transformation, Prof, with all these that's already here in the country?
Yeah, so in my opinion, so we are on the right tracks, but maybe it take a little bit longer time because of the nature of our, because end of the day, the car manufacturer want to push this product to the consumer. But the consumer take time to absorb these things because of the cost. They can certain segment of the society they afford to buy this because their income is big. But others, average people, they cannot, because they are thinking, why should I quit my internal combustion compared to electric vehicle? Can it sustain? Can it at least save some cost, or at least at par? So when we have this option, then the public will come and switch from the internal combustion to the EV, because EV, one of the advantage is that it can keep the our environment clean. It's one thing for sure. So because we need a clean environment to live in. That's one for sure. And if we could negotiate, reduce the cost, then perhaps this thing. Maybe perhaps like a government, maybe they can come up with like a special incentive on the taxation. So no double taxation, because if let's say currently now we are importing the EV, so maybe perhaps they reduce the import tax. Then on top of that, like excise duty, so that if we can exempt this thing from, like I say, few years, then maybe the public can come, and then the price of what I call it, the vehicle will drop, So then people start, why not we try this thing, At the same time,
Sorry, Prof. The other thing that came to mind is educating our Malaysians to understand the pros and cons of EVs in this country. Do you think we have reached to that level of where people are beginning to accept the fact that this is going to be a better choice of cars for the future?
Maybe not enough.
Not enough. Okay.
Because like people like me, I understand, because I'm
Right.
Because car for them is just a device which can transport them from one place to another place.
Exactly.
They don't bother about what happened to the environment. They don't bother about the things.
Correct.
Right. But we need to highlight this thing, because for example, like at the beginning, like maybe in the school, they learn about the thing. Maybe the impact is not there. Right. The is not there. So so maybe perhaps then we need to do the promo, then highlight this thing, again and again. I think then people will come and realize this thing.
Yes.
Then from one they realize it, then they say that it's time for us to change.
Correct.
Because but of course they need to help the society as well, because if let's say the price is affordable, for sure people will come and
exactly. Yes.
So then this is the thing lah, how we can create the cheaper version. Because one thing for that we are importing, but at the same time we also can produce this thing. I think there are some other companies also, they can assemble, they can integrate that kind of things. But we also can produce the technology. like the inverters, the motor, the electric motor, then we can be part of the thing. Then by having this one, then we join with the car manufacturer, then we can also reduce the cost per part based on part of the things, So there's another way too. On top of the taxation, we also can, in terms of technology, we can invest in the technology, then we can create this technology, then we can come up with our own version of the EV. So then we can compete. Because when we create the technology, then we can control the price.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So this is another way to reduce the thing lah.
Yeah.
To reduce the price of the EV.
No plans yet after SPM, we have free foundation program for you.
True, Prof. Okay, Prof. Now, can you perhaps share with us some of the benefits or prospects that this EV industry holds for the young graduates for the future?
Okay, in terms of the job, so of course there are in terms of job, I would say that there are many segments in that ecosystem. So one of them, of course, like the graduate can be employed at the factory, how they assemble that kind. That's one thing. Then the graduate also can be employed as a researcher. All right. So meaning that they are creating or improving the performance of the EV.
Right.
One is to assemble. One is to create the technology. The other one is after to maintain the car.
Yes.
So they need also this one.
Right.
All right. Let's say they're to run the what I call it, the service center. All right. So then at least they are supervising the what I call it, this the technician to look into this what I call it, this service. Then also there are another one like sale after service, mean that in terms of maintenance, because some part let's say for the converter, for example, maybe perhaps one has got problem, maybe the manufacturer come and just switch that thing. But there is also another industry which maybe only one particular component maybe it's not functioning. Then you know how to design, how to maintain that thing. Then you can always change, then put it back, then you can push this thing. This is another industry.
Right.
It's another. So there are many segments of it. So it can create job out of this thing.
Yes.
Job and business opportunity, not just in Malaysia but also surrounding. Yeah, because the EV is one car. Then after that, to charging facility, there's another industry.
Correct.
Right. So
It's a chain reaction, so to speak. Yeah, Prof. It's like a domino reaction. Yeah. It sort of.
Yes.
They need one another to expedite this whole industry by itself. Yeah.
So then another one interesting thing is that like the charging station can also use renewable energy. For example, the solar. Things.
Yes.
So in this maybe during that time the car maybe is not there. So then this extra energy can be pumped into the grid. So it creates the what I call it the ecosystem. So, from grid because you are, let's say the charging station, you use what I call it hybrid system, where you can use renewable energy, solar, it can be wind. If in the side we can generate the electricity from the wave, on top of the grid line, national grid line. So these are the things maybe what I call it can make more interesting in terms of businesses, in terms of job opportunity. This kind of there are many things.
It's endless. In other words, a big job creation for everyone. Prof.
Yes,
Right.
They can see these things.
Okay, Prof. In your opinion, what are the necessary initiatives that educational institutions could provide in terms of preparing students for this industry?
Okay, so for tertiary education, like in university or technical colleges, so normally we are preparing first like we are preparing like for at undergraduate level. Undergraduate level, basically like the engineers. So normally these people they can work in like in the manufacturer, to assemble that kind of things. You need an engineer to do the analysis on that one.
Right.
Then one you can go at the postgraduate level. Postgraduate level mean that you are creating the new technology based on this one. Improve.
True.
Then the third one is like the technician, maybe at diploma level or certificate level.
Yes.
All right, which they need to maintain the vehicle.
Yes.
After for servicing that kind of thing. So all level from the technician level up to the up to the researcher, up to the engineers. And another thing, like I always say that it can be also in terms of entrepreneurs,
Right.
business people, because there are some of business opportunity can be created based on this industry.
Correct.
For example, like battery, the battery from the EV can also be used for second application.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Second application mean that some other application you can do, then do manufacturing, then apply for another application. So
Right.
this is the opportunity,
Right. Interesting. Yep.
Right.
Thank you very much, Prof. Thank you for sharing us your know-how on this subject matter, which can be quite technical to some people, I'm sure. Thank you again, Prof. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you very much for inviting me to join this program.
You're most welcome, sir. While we should applaud our own country for taking the initiatives to make Malaysia more environmentally friendly with the introduction of electric cars, there are many ways to improve, and we are getting there one step at a time. If you ask us, is Malaysia ready for electric cars today? One answer would be no. But ask again in 5 years, when we have taken all the necessary steps to make our industry ready for electric cars, that answer would be more positive. Thank you once again, Professor Dr. Ishak Aris, for being in our program. Isimians, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Edu Channel Malaysia. Kindly be reminded to practice your SOPs wherever you are. Take care and stay safe always. Jumpa lagi.